Please meet Zenovia Harris. Zenovia is an experienced operation and community engagement professional with a demonstrated history of working in the public organization management industry. She is skilled in portfolio management, program design and implementation, business development, and data analysis. Zenovia is a professional with a Master of Public Administration. She is equipped with service as a Commissioner Chair-elect for the City of Kent Human Services Commission that consistently evaluates nonprofit agencies against their mission and vision to ensure grant funds are being properly used. Zenovia offers a unique combination of creative and analytical talents coupled with the ability to assess multiple vantage points to deliver effective solutions for internal and external business partners and clients.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that introduction, Emily. I think it's important. This is going to be a great conversation because the choice of words that I use there, I think I want to change some of that to really show who I am. And that'll all make sense when I kind of get into it today. So good morning, or nope, it's good afternoon now. Good afternoon, Washington Business Week staff members, students, and guests. Again, I am Zenovia Harris, and my pronouns are she and her. First, let me say congratulations to all of you. I call myself a girl on the rise. I call myself a girl on the rise because I am always learning and always engaging with diverse set of individuals. Although I'm here today to hopefully motivate you and have the honor of being your presenter, I want you to know that each of you have inspired me. I grew up and never had the opportunity to be involved in a program that WBW provides. I was not fortunate enough to connect with people who cared about me and who cared about my future. This program you will forever be able to glean from this program. You are very privileged to be in this program, and that is nothing to be ashamed of. That is something that you should be proud of. I wish I could go back in time and immerse myself into a program like this and be on the team with any one of you. That is because from what I can see, you are all brilliant, you are resilient, you are intelligent, and most of all, you are brave. So let me tell you a little bit about Zenovia. I like to tell the story of my road from telemarketer to chief executive officer to CEO. And I'm not sure if any of you know what you want to be when you grow up. I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. It's a funny story. It's both sad and funny at the same time. When I became a CEO, I still had to explain what a CEO meant to some of my family members and my friends. And so I take great pride in the position that I hold within my community. I will also tell you that some of my experiences have been painful. And I unfortunately lost my mother to gun violence at the age of 7. I'm not telling you that so that you can be sad or that you can feel bad for me. I'm telling you that because I want you to know whatever is thrown in your way, you can still be successful. It's important that you turn your pain or your struggles into power. And I'm a clear example of how to do that. When I lost my mother, I went into the foster care system, and those experiences were interesting, to say the least. But what I remember most is what I thought I needed and didn't have. And that was people pushing me. I honestly believe I needed people to push me, and then later on found out that I needed to push myself. I was surrounded with people who were okay with me being mediocre. And it wasn't until I woke up and said, Zenovia, you can be whoever you want to be. You can do whatever you want to do. Your past does not dictate your future. So I moved out at a very young age. At the age of 18, I purchased my first home at the age of 25 while working as a telemarketer. And then I went back to school while working as a telemarketer. I earned both my bachelor's degree, my master's degree, and I got a real estate license. I kind of fell in love with education there for a while. And then I worked at a university for about 10 years. I say all of that to say that I don't think anyone should wait until they are 29 to go to college. But It's okay if you don't know exactly what it is that you want to be today. And just because you don't know does not mean that you will not be successful. So take it from someone who sounds really good on paper, but when you really get to know me at my core, I have a lot of experiences. And so I'm telling you that you are filled with greatness, and all it takes is a great choice, a great opportunity that you've made for yourself to be successful. And I would be very, again, thankful for WBW for this program. I also encourage you go to college, make those connections, immerse yourself into the diversity that exists, and have fun. When I was asked to speak today, I was absolutely overjoyed. Last year, I had the opportunity, right as I think we were going into COVID, to talk at a WBW cohort, and just the sheer amount of engagement and the light bulbs that I was able to see go off was so inspiring for me. So again, I'm honored to speak with you all today. And I want to make sure at the end that I leave time for questions, because I'm an open book. I've had a lot of experiences, good, bad, fun, and frightening alike. So if something comes up and you have a question, just go ahead and jot it down, and we'll make sure, Andrea and I will make sure that we get that answered, or you can put it into the chat. Before I get into the kind of the meat of this and what I want you to walk away today, I think it's important that I acknowledge the sponsorship of my friend, Andrea Kaikala. Andrea and I met years ago when I joined the chamber while I was working at the university. And we had a relationship in the very beginning that was surface. We were business women coming into work, doing our job, and having that connection. But it wasn't until we began to really talk to each other and learn more about who we are, found out who we are outside of our jobs, that we really began to form this friendship and this bond and understanding of who we are at our core. So I don't know if she said this, if Emily said this in the presentation, but Andrea is my predecessor, which means she held this position before I did. And so she laid a great foundation for me to come in to be successful. I am the first Black woman to lead this chamber. This chamber has been around for 70 plus years. And so I'm grateful for the foundation that my friend, that my sponsor laid down for me to make sure that I could be successful. So if you get to know someone on a deeper level, more than just the surface, you can create a lasting friendship and a relationship that is both beneficial to you and the other person. And so I want you to kind of think about, maybe there's someone in this cohort, maybe it was a speaker, maybe it was someone in your company that really resonated with you. And you thought, wow, I think that person is really different than I am. We should get to know each other. You would be very surprised to know that same person, probably you and that person probably have more in common than you would know. Relationship building is part of life, and it doesn't matter what field you go into, you can experience more success if you cultivate organic, healthy relationships with people. That doesn't mean use people. That means get to know them at their core, find out how you can assist them in their journey to success, and go from there. I am going to back up just a little bit because I'm using a word in a way maybe you haven't heard that before, the word sponsorship. And sponsorship is when you speak positively about a person when that person is not in the room, and you are willing to create an opportunity or recommend that person because you know that they have a certain skill set. So I'll give an example other than the one with Andrea and what she does with me. A sponsorship can look like this. Have you ever been in a classroom and you thought, wow, Katie never gets called on. Katie never gets an opportunity to lead. So you as a sponsor would be the person that says, hey, what about Katie? I think she should lead this project. She's really good at marketing. right? And so what that does is it builds Katie's confidence. It shows that you are a leader and you can recognize talent in people. And honestly, it's just a good thing to do. So that's what a sponsorship means. And that's what it looks like in a classroom or any type of work, in any type of work setting. So again, in order for you to be able to do that and recommend that person and recommend Katie, it's important that you get to know them at your core. You're giving an opportunity to someone who would not have gotten that opportunity if it weren't for your sponsorship. And that is what Andrea is to me. She is a sponsor. And when she sees an opportunity or a topic or a process that I can engage in, she invites me into the fold. So at this time, I just want to say thank you to my friend. Thank you to my colleague, and thank you to my sponsor. And I thank you for allowing me to be who I am and show up in these spaces as Zenovia. So, and again, I just wanted to bring that up quickly because I think this is maybe the second time that I've had the opportunity to speak. And for me, that was very important, acknowledging the opportunities that I've been given. So there is a famous expression that says, the only place where success comes before hard work or before work is in the dictionary. And I want you to think about that for a second. Success is the dictionary is the only place where success comes before work. That might be something that you want to write down and really ponder and think about it. Everyone needs to work at their greatness, right? And it is okay if you need to work a little bit harder, a little bit longer. That doesn't take away the fact that you are great. Today, I'm going to talk to you about 3 C's, okay? I spoke about these 3 C's when I was selected to give my commencement speech, when I graduated with my master's degree. And I thought it was important to talk to this group about those 3 C's because they can really shape who you are as a person, as a leader, as a friend, as a teammate. In my personal opinion, once you realize the connection between these 3 C's, you will become a more well-rounded person. Those 3 C's are choices, consequences, and character. You each had a choice to show up and give your all during this cohort. I'm sure that there were things that you wanted to do but couldn't do because you had to prepare for a presentation. You had to take a class or listen to a presenter. If you're here in the Pacific Northwest, we have experienced some of the best weather. I wanted to be at the beach, but guess what? I had to work, and I'm sure you did too. And that took a lot of work, and I commend you for that. And that was a great choice. So instead of choosing to go out and hang out by the beach and not focus on your work, you chose to collaborate effectively. You chose to take risk, and you chose to make those great commercials. You all have the choice to take everything that you've learned, all of the skills during these sessions, and use them for both your educational and your professional journey. No matter the circumstances, remember, you always have a choice. Sometimes it's as simple as choosing to have a good attitude when you're working with someone who has a different skill set than you. You choose to create a teachable moment instead of putting someone down. What is amazing about your experience during this cohort is that you had to make choices about cultural norms, creating leadership teams, but not limited to developing missions and visions for organizations. Those are all difficult choices, and you managed to do it flawlessly. So you had a choice, the choice was yours, and guess what? That choice had consequences. Let me be clear. Consequences can have both a positive and a negative connotation. The Webster Dictionary for consequences is a conclusion derived through logic, something produced by a cause or necessarily following a form or set of conditions, importance with respect to power to produce an effect, and the appearance of importance. Positive consequences and negative consequences will all have a deep effect on your ability to maneuver through your career and your educational aspirations. The consequences for showing up to this cohort will have long-lasting impacts on your ability to collaborate in a very diverse community. Looking at my screen, you all are a very diverse group of students that goes from age, from education, from background to location to abilities, and it is a beautiful thing. It is a beautiful thing to see, and I want you to make sure that this is a consequence of being in this room, but it is a positive consequence. Consequences for me show me your ability or someone's ability to make a mistake. Consequences are used to hold people accountable. For example, I am sure that someone has experienced this during this last week or so. You have a deadline for a project and you're working on that with a team. If someone they make a choice to not get their information in on time, their video in on time, guess what? That's going to have a negative effect on the group, right? So that's a negative effect. But your job as a leader is to make sure that you can motivate that person to make a positive choice to get that work done on time. What does that do? It turns a negative consequence into a positive consequence for you. You build on your leadership skills, you motivate other people, and you become a sponsor of that person. So because you're building on your skills and building on your abilities to be a leader, sometimes it just means you have to take a negative consequence or a negative situation and turn it into an opportunity to learn, to grow, and to succeed. So, when you're a toddler and your parents tell you, don't touch that, that's hot. Well, I'm the kid that I touch it anyway, right? And so the consequence of that is that I got burned, but I also knew that they were telling me the truth. So it allowed me to trust them more because I myself went through that experience. Also, because it was such a horrible experience and I don't like getting burned, when someone tells me that something is going to hurt me, I take their word for it. Now I know better, so I can do better. And when you do better, you're building your character. So have you ever heard the saying, people will forget what you say, but they'll never forget how you make them feel. Has anyone ever heard that? Shaking of head, no? That is a quote. You can Google it. You want to look that one up, right? People will never forget how you make them feel. And this quote for me so eloquently describes my character. I pride myself on being someone that leaves a room with people feeling better when I entered into the room. I pride myself on building my character around accountability, around trust, honesty, support, open-mindedness, and diversity and inclusion. Character is something that you choose. Your character is not determined by other people, and you have full control person in any given room. But I'm always okay with asking questions and making sure that I am an asset to the conversation or the situation. Sometimes what that looks like is me being the funny person or the humorous person, making the situation lighter for everyone involved. So your character is about how you show up in the room. Are you a trustworthy person? Did you listen and learn from the consequences that were presented in your life? So I say all of this to say, we each have a choice with an understanding that that choice has a consequence, and your reaction to that consequence builds your character. So I ask you, what choice will you make differently, knowing it has consequences and it will shape your future? Congratulations to you all, and I wish you nothing but success in the future. And that is what I have for you today. And I will open it up for any questions, comments, or concerns. Oh, we're so quiet today.
All right, do we have any questions at all for Zenovia?
I have a question. Did you attend any Washington Business Week camps when you were a child or something?
No, I didn't. I didn't even, well, I grew up in California. And so I don't know if Washington Business Week is even in California, but I just was not privy to those things. In high school, what I did was dance. I played a little basketball, but mostly I was a dancer. Can I ask why you asked that question? I don't know who asked it though.
I asked that question because I was wondering if if your history with Washington Business Week had started from when you were a kid.
Yeah, no, I didn't know I was smart until I was 29.
So it looks like we have a question from Katie on the chat from Company I. What advice would you give your teenage self?
Wow. My teenage self, I would tell Zenovia that she was smart and that she should take advantage of opportunities that she is presented with. I was very closed-minded as a teenager. Some of it had to do with my environment, but a lot of it had to do with what I built up in my head. And so I would tell my teenage self to get out of my own head, get out of my own way, take risk, and that you are smart. Your smart might look different than the person next to you, but that doesn't mean that you're not smart. Great question.
All right, so I guess with no other questions, I just want to say thank you, Zenovia. I got a little emotional there. I did not expect that. I am so honored to be your friend, and I love seeing your success. And as I close this out, I do have one more question. It looks like from Prabnor. Thank you for asking a question. She says, "What age did you start working?"
So I don't know if I should even tell this story, but so I started working at 16 years old, and I worked at the state fair, and that's when I learned that food service is not for me, that I just am not built for that. And so that was my first job. So I worked there 16, almost 17. And then when I moved out at 18, I got my own apartment. So I had to get a job, and I was a telemarketer for almost 10 years. So I was a telemarketer for almost 10 years when I first moved out.
And Zenovia, I know that you did your education while working. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and how you decided to do that?
I did. So again, I started college when I was 29 years old, so I was a little late to the game. I started to work in call center work, and I remember my boss bringing me into a room and saying, "You know what, Zenovia, what degree do you have? What's your degree in? Because I'm looking at, we're going to be closing this soon, and I wonder what you're going to be doing." And I was like, "Oh, I don't have a degree. What am I going to do?" And so he was like, "Oh, I'm surprised that you don't have a degree." And so I went on vacation, just subsequently went on vacation with a girlfriend. And I was telling her like, "Oh, I don't even have a degree. I don't know what I'm going to do. I should get one." And she's like, "Oh, I work for the University of Phoenix. I can show you how to do it." I'm like, "Yeah, but it's going to cost so much money." And my friend literally walked me through the process, and I was in school, less than 30 days once I knew the process. But I started college, I was working. Then I transitioned into another job. I actually started working at the university that I went to school at. I actually started a business while I was in school and completing my bachelor's degree. And when it came to about the last year, I had to close my business because I could not run a business, work a job, and do school. In school, I really wanted to graduate, and I was really hung up on GPA. So I said, I've got to quit the business. And then after that, I went on to my master's degree, and I was still working full-time, earning my master's degree and getting married and all of those good things. So yeah, it was an interesting thing, but the good thing is that the life experience that I had at work, I could easily use that in the classroom. So if you're working a job, no matter what job that is, you're able to use that in the classroom. Real life experience will take you a very long way.
Definitely. Looks like Gada has her hand raised.
Could you say that what you achieved, that you could say your wish come true or not, that you was what you achieved, it was your dream always?
Yeah, so I'll be honest, I had small dreams. I just wanted to survive, right? And so if we look at it from that standpoint, I've overachieved survival. And then once I got out of survival mode, I got into thrive mode. And then when I earned my degrees, I was in a position where I could choose where I wanted to work, and I could make decisions, for myself. So I would say yes, but I started at the top of this saying, I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up. I kind of still want to be a teacher. I kind of, and I want to teach elementary school. I kind of want to go back into owning my own business. There was a question in the chat. I opened a call center. I'm a creature of habit. I was really good at call center work. I built great relationships in that 10 years. And when that job was over, I just went ahead and opened my own call center. So yes, I have seen a lot of success. But I'm not done yet, Agata. So, catch me in about 10 years. And when I'm applying for you as the CEO, applying for your job, be like, what, Zenovia, now you want to do this? Okay, great. Let's do it. So I'm not sure, but I do feel successful, and I do feel thankful. And I know that my education played a huge role in my ability to be successful in the workplace.
Wonderful. It looks like we have time for one more question. That's going to go to Zanaya.
Hello, I wanted to ask you, what advice would you give to a student who's also working? Like for when you would go off to college and you're working at the same time, how did you balance that?
It takes a lot of discipline. So I'm not going to say that this is easy, right? It takes a lot of discipline, and you have to know that there is an end game, right? There is an end point to that. And if you take what you're learning in school and apply it at your job and vice versa, you will see that you probably are going to promote faster than other people. You're going to find more success and in that particular job. You'll be happier, right? Because you're constantly, and I don't know, I'm putting this on you, but hopefully when you're learning new things, you're happier and it's more engaging and inviting. Those things will happen for you. So you just have to, it's going to be hard work, but you balance it out, and you have to surround yourself with people who know what your goals are so that they can support you, because you're going to need support. You don't need those friends saying, oh, Zanaya, come on, let's go hang out. Let's go do this. You need friends that are going to bring you pizza, bring you soda pop, and be like, hey girl, 15 minutes. Let's chat for 15 minutes and then we're going to go. Those are the kind of people that you surround yourself so that you can hit your goals. And if you want to work, need to work, have to work, none of that matters. If you are working, you can still earn your college degree for sure.
Awesome. So
3.8 in my master's, Alex, just putting that out there. My bachelor's, I had bad friends, Zanaya, I'll be honest, I had bad friends, so they were pulling me out, so that wasn't as high. And then degree in business management and master's in public administration. Sorry, trying to answer all the questions, Andrea. Sorry.
Oh, good. No, that's great. Thank you. Thank you again, Zenovia, for coming and inspiring our students and closing out our camp with a wonderful message. I hope to see you again, and I hope to see you actually soon for something fun.
Yes, something fun. All right. Choices, consequences, and character. You remember that. You'll be fine.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.